Welcome to Big City Chronicles, where we talk about all things surge of power and the wonderful world of Big City. So people have been asking me about my emblem. Well, let's see, where does that come from?
And our first question here we have is, how did you come up with the surge insignia and what does it mean? Isn't that kind of two questions though? How do we come up with the emblem and what does it mean? So it's two questions. Oh, okay, that's fine. Okay, so we got a compound question here. So to answer the first part, how did we come up with the surge emblem? We have invited into the studio today the creator of the Surge of Power universe, Vincent Roth. That's it. Thank you, Surge, for inviting me. Well, in coming up with the Surge emblem, what I was thinking was so many superheroes out there have a mark that identifies them to the public. So I wanted to do the same with Surge. And while I wanted to be a little arbitrary and fanciful with the design, I also wanted it to be very suggestive of Surge. So after a lot of different permutations, this is the final design I arrived at back in early 2003, around February. And what I did was I created an insignia that is not only distinctive from other superheroes, but also this is ingrained in the character. What I did was I tied this to his origin. If we could see the footage, if you recall from the first Surge of Power movie, The Stuff of Heroes, before Surge even gets his powers, in his alter ego as Gavin Lucas, he interrupts the villain, startling him, who then bumps into this experimental device that then explodes. And it's that energy that they get their powers from. And as you can see here, as the machine is exploding, these waves of energy are going out. And this is what Gavin is seeing. This is his point of view. Now you see this bolt of plasma shoot out of the machine as these waves of energy are going out. If we could stop that for a moment, there you see what Gavin is looking at is this. If we can overlay the shoot out of the machine as these waves of energy are going out, if we could stop that for a moment, there you see what Gavin is looking at is this, and becomes Surge. So in coming up with the design, the mark that represents Surge and identifies him to the public is essentially a representation of his origin, because we can see the bolt of plasma and the waves of energy. A lot of people think that this is a lightning bolt, but as you can see now, it's actually the bolt of plasma and waves of energy coming from this machine, and that's what he saw, and that's how he came up. Well, thank you so much, Vincent. That was fascinating. Thank you for coming. Okay, great. Well, as you can see, as Gavin Lucas, this symbolizes to me my origin. Well, what does it say to the public? Well, some scholars have a perspective on that. Dr. Peter Coogan, who has his Ph.D. in superheroes, informs us that the insignia really should be called a chevron, because it's not just a symbol, but it represents that superhero's standing in society. How does the public view that superhero? How do the villains fear that superhero? How is that superhero viewed in a rank of other superheroes in that community? So to get a little bit of perspective about that, we know that in the first Surge of Power movie, The Stuff of Heroes, I got a lot of my advice about how to be a superhero from Omen, my mentor, who was played by Nichelle Nichols, the original Uhura from Star Trek. Well, let's see what Omen says about being a superhero.
First, you have to understand that you don't have to right every wrong. Even comic book heroes know that they can't rid the whole world of all evil. You make a difference where you can. Powers, it's not the important thing. Character is. That's what's important. Integrity, virtue, perseverance. Now that's the stuff of heroes.
So as we can see, as Omen advises me as Gavin, character is what's important. So when I put on my battle suit and go out in Big City, what I'm trying to project is character, integrity, virtue, perseverance. And what I'm trying to suggest to the public is you don't have to overcome every challenge in your life. You make a difference where you can.
Well, there you go. I now hope you enjoyed learning about the Surge emblem, or should I say, chevron. Tune in again to Big City Chronicles. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And in the meantime, make a difference where you can.